Trippers, welcome to another episode of the Road Tripping Podcast. I'm your host, Dean Ward.
And I am your host, Molly Malloy. As always, it's great to have you tuning in.
If this is your first episode, then welcome. If it's not your first episode, then welcome back. Each week, Molly and I take a drive along the information superhighway to find topics that we find interesting, obscure, funny, or downright bizarre, and then bring them to the show to share with you, our listeners, all in the hopes that we can make your commute suck just a little less.
You can find all previous episodes of the Road Tripping Podcast for free on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and now even our own app, which is available in the Google Play Store. To stream or download our show on your mobile device, start by opening your favorite app and typing the Road Tripping Podcast, that's tripping with a G, into the search bar. While you're there, be sure to subscribe to our feed so you'll have access to all of our previous shows, as well as all of the future goodness we're planning on bringing your way. If you have any difficulty in finding us, then check out our homepage at theroadtrippingpodcast.com/subscribe for a list of directories that once clicked will take you straight to our feed on that directory.
In the United States, 1.5 billion pounds of pumpkins are grown annually, with the majority of those being used to carve a jack-o'-lantern at Halloween. We've been doing it for centuries. But have you ever stopped and wondered why and where it came from? Well, worry no more. Just stay tuned to hear the details right after these words.
More leads, less effort. Sounds good, right? Social Beat offers social media management tools, training, and teams to help you with content creations, posting, recycling, and more. Automatically post on all major networks. Organize your content into categories for the best content mix. Effortlessly repost your evergreen content for maximum impact. And save lots of time in the meantime. To help the show and get your 14-day free trial, follow the link in the show notes or by clicking on the banner on our homepage at theroadtrippingpodcast.com. We use them and think you should too. Join the hype today.
Trippers, September is National Suicide Prevention Month, and we at the Road Tripping Podcast are dedicating a portion of our show for the entire month to assist in bringing awareness to the topic. We want you to know that we understand that every struggle is different, but there is hope. If you feel that you need someone to talk to, we encourage you to use the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, which provides 24/7, free, and confidential support via phone or chat, as well as can provide you with information on finding your local crisis center. Please call 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255. Or visit their website, suicidepreventionlifeline.org.
In a time long past, we can perhaps get a glimpse into the tale that might be the origin of what became the reality of our world today. Or maybe it's just a good yarn. Either way, sit back and listen for yourself. Just maybe the truth is stranger than fiction.
Jack, you dotted fool. Are you drunk again?
What say you, woman?
I say, are you drunk again? Never mind you, I can see that he is. The steel you're beating on is not even heated, and the fort fire is not lit.
I am not drunk. I've had only a teeny morning to wake me up. A wee little drab. Nothing more.
No, you are truly good and reeling ripe. I can smell you from here. You best sober up, 'cause you ain't coming home to my bed smelling like that, especially with nearly a copper in your pocket for the day's work. Some smith you are, I can see, sure. I bet you would drink the duck one himself if he asked you.
I am not drunk, woman. But if the old temper came a calling, and he was a paying, I wouldn't turn his offer down.
No, I don't suppose you would. You acted the maggot you are, and I'm done with ye. Don't come home till you sober up, you stingy idiot.
All right, boyo.
What? Oh, Jesus! You startled me. Who be ye and what do ye want?
Well, I have many names, but Jesus isn't one of them. As for what I want, merely to tempt you with a drink. You do like to drink, don't ye, Jack?
Oh, no. If you know my name, then only the devil can ye be, and ye ain't gonna pull one over on me. You want something more than a drink.
Why no, Jack? Just a friendly drink, or perhaps a friendly few rounds. What do you say? Come on, your good wife shall never know.
Alrighty, devil. If and ye is just wanting a friendly drink, let's have at it. I never say no to a man who want to share a few.
So the devil and Jack leave his unlit forge and head to the local pub and proceed to knock back quite a few, having a raucous good time. When the tab comes due, though stingy Jack gets worried because he doesn't have coin to pay, much less his own, but to also pay the devil's too. His wife might flaunt it about to the neighbors that he was stingy and a drunk, but old Jack was still a crafty sort and quickly came up with a plan.
Say there, devil me boyo. Do you have any coin for the drinks?
Well, Jack, I was only tempting you to drink. I never said I would pay.
Listen here, devil. I have no coin for the tavern keep myself. Can't you work some magic to get us off the hook? The tavern keep is married to a good wife, you see, who is a friend of the Reverend's wife. Who will tell the Reverend I was in here with ye? I don't know about ye, but I don't want anyone with a line to the Almighty after me. I'm sure he is after ye enough, too.
Yes, Jack, I see the point. He is troublesome. I'll tell you what. I will turn myself into a coin, and you can use that coin to pay the tavern keep. When he turns his back, I will change back, and we will have a good laugh together.
Alrighty, devil. It's a deal.
In a wink, the devil changed himself into a fat gold coin and landed on the table in front of Jack. Jack quickly snatched up the coin and stuffed it into his pocket next to a small silver cross that once belonged to his mother, which prevented the devil from changing back and skipped out on the tab altogether. Now the devil was extremely angry that he had been tricked, but stingy Jack would not set him free unless they came to an understanding. Jack eventually freed the devil under the condition that he would not bother Jack for another year, and that should Jack die, he would not claim his soul. The next year, the gullible devil met up with Jack on the side of the road, and during their conversation, Jack once again tricked the devil by getting him to climb up into a tree to pick a piece of fruit. While he was up in the tree, Jack carved a sign of the cross into the tree's bark so that the devil could not come down until the devil promised Jack not to bother him for 10 more years. When he eventually died, Jack was refused entry into heaven on the account of his drunken, lurid, and miserly ways. The devil, who was very upset by the trick Jack had played on him, decided he would get even by simply keeping his word not to claim his soul. He refused Jack entry into hell and sent Jack off into the dark night with only a burning coal to light his way. Jack put the coal into a carved-out turnip and has been roaming the earth ever since. The Irish began to refer to this ghostly figure as Jack of the Lantern, and then simply Jack-o'-lantern.
The tale we just told you is just one of the several variations of the story that we found online. Sometimes Jack was old, others young. Sometimes a blacksmith, sometimes not. Sometimes they were drinking, and in others it was gambling that the devil lost at. Sometimes Jack was a thief on the run from locals. Regardless, the result was that Jack was denied entry to both heaven and hell and is doomed to wander the world forever. The origin of the jack-o'-lantern found its beginnings in Celtic Ireland as part of the yearly festival known as Samhain, what we today call Halloween, the purpose of which was threefold. Firstly, it was an important fire festival celebrating the end of life and the beginning of new life. It was symbolized by druids extinguishing old flames, only to relight new ones through ceremony. Secondly, it marked the end of the Celtic year and their pastoral cycle, the time when all the crops would have been gathered and placed in storage, as well as which animals were to be bred and which were to be slaughtered had been selected. Thirdly, and the most important for our topic today, is that it was the time of the year that the veil between worlds was the thinnest, and departed spirits could return to their former homes. The term jack-o'-lantern was originally used to describe the same visual phenomenon of the foolish fire, also known as the will-o'-the-wisp, a friar's lantern, a hinky-punk, or hobby lantern that is found in English folklore. All of these, of course, are describing the same thing, an atmospheric ghost light seen by travelers at night, especially over bogs, swamps, or marshes. The belief is that the light misleads travelers by making them think there is someone nearby with a lantern, or a house is off in the distance that they can reach for a night's rest. However, you can never get close to the light, and often find yourself in some sort of mortal danger before you realize what is happening if you follow that light. The problem for the Celts, however, was that other spirits, such as ghosts, fairies, banshees, and shapeshifters, would also be free to roam the earth that night. A way to protect your home was needed.
To ward off the evil during Samhain, huge bonfires were lit, and people wore ugly masks and disguises to confuse the spirits and stop the dead from identifying the individuals whom they disliked during their own lifetime. This is why we dress in costumes today. Well, at least why children dress up in costumes today. The Celts felt it was also important to make a lot of noise to unsettle the spirits and drive them away from your home. If you weren't brave and didn't want to face a spirit, the timid would leave out food in their homes, or at least at the nearest hawthorn or whitethorn bush, where fairies are known to live, hoping that their generosity would appease the spirits. For some, the tradition of leaving food in the home and a spoon to eat it with, usually a plate of champ, a creamy mashed potatoes with scallions and green onions, or colcannon, which is potatoes, cabbage, and onions, was more about offering hospitality to their own ancestors. But to not leave your home unprotected, there was one thing that the Celts would do to prevent unwelcome guests from entering their homes during Samhain, and the Celts created menacing faces out of turnips and left them on their doorsteps. And with the addition of a lit candle to the hollowed-out face, they received added protection. In modern times, pumpkins rather than turnips are being used to perform the same duties because they are considerably easier to carve and a lot bigger. And besides, the Celts couldn't have used them because they're not native to Ireland. It was in the 1800s that the jack-o'-lanterns were introduced to the United States when waves of Irish immigrants migrated to America. The Irish immigrants quickly discovered that pumpkins were bigger and easier to carve out, so they used pumpkins for jack-o'-lanterns, and the tradition spread from there.
Trippers, I hope you've enjoyed our look into the origins of the jack-o'-lantern. Hopefully with Halloween quickly approaching, you now have a better appreciation for another of our traditions. While you will find them sometimes in countries where an Irish, Scottish, English, or American has transplanted themselves, this is not a worldwide cultural practice. So take pleasure in something that is pretty unique to this part of the world, and whether or not you believe it wards off evil spirits or not, just have fun in the process of carving your jack-o'-lantern, especially if you have young ones just learning about them and Halloween. Time flies by and soon they won't want to participate because it's icky or dumb. Yes, I have teenage girls and miss those times, so I know what I'm talking about. The Road Tripping Podcast wants to dedicate today's show to my mother. This is her favorite time of year, and carving a pumpkin is something she really enjoys. Mom, I can't wait to see this year's crop of designs you come up with, but you have a long way to go for any records. The world record for lit pumpkins all in one place happened on October 19th, 2013 in Keene, New Hampshire, with 30,581. Good luck, Mom. Well, that's all the time we have for in this episode of the Road Tripping Podcast. But if you liked it and want to hear more, please subscribe to the show feed and give us a 5-star rating on your favorite podcast directory. The more positive reviews we receive, the more trippers will be able to find us, and the faster we will grow, thus being able to bring you new content. Be sure to visit our website, theroadtrippingpodcast.com, that's tripping with a G, to keep updated on future shows, leave show suggestions, and to see all the ways to find and interact with us all in one place. If you're able and feeling generous, then a link to our Patreon page can be found under the support link on the homepage. We have been your hosts, Dean Ward and Molly Malloy, and the Road Tripping Podcast is recorded and produced at Before Midnight Studio. As always, until next we meet, stay safe, trippers.